with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
I mean, at this point, it feels like everybody is weighing in on this situation.
Has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a...
Let's be real for a second. Over the past year, we have seen Cheryl Swoops relentlessly target Caitlin Clark with some of the most strange and unfounded accusations imaginable. We're talking about bizarre claims that she's a 25-year-old playing against teenagers, that her record-breaking rookie season somehow wasn't actually good, and even that no one in the league wants to play with her. It was just this constant negative onslaught that honestly appeared to go on forever.
Your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of hard, right?
And I used, Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummy.
Then, just when it seemed like the noise would never stop, a true basketball great and a former coach of Clark's, Cheryl Miller, stepped into the ring. She went on the All the Smoke podcast and delivered what can only be described as a knockout blow to the critics, calling Swoops a huge idiot and systematically deconstructing all the bogus myths. Fans are absolutely giddy with anticipation watching Miller finally put Swoops in her place. But her passionate defense of Caitlin Clark also suggests something completely unexpected about the Indiana Fever's future. Are you prepared for this? Let's go.
Two-time Player of the Year, two-time National Championship, two-time Tournament MVP, first woman to dunk in an organized game, gold medalist. Thank you for making time. Welcome to the show, Cheryl Miller.
But before we dissect every powerful word that Miller said, let's just take a step back for a moment. Have you ever actually stopped and wondered why one of basketball's own legends seems so incredibly committed to destroying the WNBA's brightest new star? It's a question worth asking, so let's really examine the strange and persistent campaign that Cheryl Swoops has waged against Caitlin Clark. A campaign that started way back in her college days and followed her all the way through her rookie season.
Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old.
It all really began with Swoops making these wildly false claims about Clark's legendary college career. In what might be her most outrageous statement of all, Swoops claimed that Clark was a 25-year-old playing against 20-year-olds during her time at Iowa. Now, let's be crystal clear about the reality of the situation. Clark was only 22 years old and was playing in her fourth year just like countless other college seniors. When she was finally confronted about this blatant falsehood, Swoops tried to backpedal, claiming that it was all just hyperbole related to COVID eligibility rules. An incredibly weak defense that absolutely didn't hold up under any scrutiny.
Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team,
she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a day. But believe me, Swoops was only just getting started. She then went on to claim that Clark took 40 shots per game, trying to paint this picture of her as some kind of self-centered ball-hogging volume shooter. In reality, the actual numbers show Clark averaged a much more reasonable 22.7 shots per game. And what makes this claim especially ironic is the fact that Swoops herself averaged 19.2 shots per game during her own senior year, which is just 3 fewer than Clark. Talk about throwing stones from a glass house. So when that narrative didn't work, Swoops changed tactics, especially when Clark was getting close to breaking the all-time NCAA scoring record, by implying that Clark would need a 5th year to break it.
bring back Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
This, of course, was wholly and completely untrue. Then, when Clark entered the WNBA, Swoops boldly predicted that she wouldn't be able to dominate the league. Yet, as Clark immediately started breaking rookie assist records and establishing herself as one of the league's premier playmakers, Swoops conveniently just ignored the fact that the COVID eligibility rule would have allowed Clark a 5th year of college ball, but she consciously chose not to use it. In the end, the numbers speak for themselves. Clark finished her incredible rookie campaign, averaging 19.2 points and a league-leading 8.4 assists per game. completely silencing the doubters and rightfully winning Rookie of the Year.
Didn't say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points didn't dominate that.
Perhaps the most telling moment of all was Swoops' appearance on Angel Reese's podcast, where she persisted in disparaging Clark, while at the same time claiming she doesn't detest her. It was just a classic textbook example of someone saying one thing while their actions demonstrate the complete opposite, laying the hypocrisy bare for everyone to see.
Cheryl, since she was in college, I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first SBs. I've known Cheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that there was this quote by Cheryl that said, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, however old, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate.
When the entire basketball world started to notice this disturbing trend, the constant criticism became impossible to ignore. It eventually led to real consequences. As Swoops was barred from broadcasting an Indiana Fever game, she was replaced in the booth by another legend, Nancy Lieberman, who, unlike Swoops, wasn't afraid to step up and expose the false information. Story truly turns. Because when Cheryl Miller entered the All the Smoke podcast studio and completely lit up the critics, the basketball world finally found someone with unimpeachable credibility to enter the Caitlin Clark conversation. So let me ask you, what happens when a true basketball legend, someone who has actually coached Clark, decides she's had enough of all the nonsense? You get one of the most powerful and genuine defenses we've seen in the history of women's basketball.
No, Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes.
Yeah.
But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time.
As Miller reflected on the immense pressure Clark was under, she noted that the constant criticism can make you feel like you have to prove yourself over and over again. Sometimes maybe more than you were right.
I can't fault her for what she was given.
And here's the painful reality of this whole situation. Clark's detractors simply refuse to acknowledge the undeniable fact that her presence has improved the league as a whole. We're talking about a massive surge in viewership, ticket sales, and media attention, which, by the way, directly benefits everyone, including their own salaries.
Look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So, with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
You see, after getting the chance to coach Clark directly in the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game, Miller had a front row seat to assess Clark's game beyond all the highlight reels and media spin. What she discovered, seeing Clark up close, shocked even her. This direct, personal experience is exactly what makes Miller's defense so incredibly potent and impossible to just brush aside.
He recently coached the WNBA All-Star Game. You spent some time with Caitlin Clark.
Best coaching job ever.
Best coaching job
Best
ever.
coaching job ever.
Being around Caitlin Clark, how was the experience for her? She's such a big star. I mean, the sky's the limit for her. To be around her, just talk about the type of person she is and how much she loves the game.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her. I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a Black woman and hated because of my...
As Miller herself put it, I was happy and gratified to learn that the story wasn't accurate. With that one powerful statement, she skillfully dissected months of negative media narratives. But she didn't stop there. Miller went even deeper, providing truly unique insight into what makes Clark such a special talent. And in doing so, she cut through all the noise to get straight to the truth.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because She's cocky for a good reason.
Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the...
But you know, Miller's technical analysis of Clark's on-court abilities, as sharp as it is, actually conceals something far more important. A sincere emotional connection that developed in the depths of Clark's most trying times. This became crystal clear when the Fever ultimately secured their first victory of the 2025 season. In that moment, Miller did more than simply congratulate Clark. She gave her genuine, unconditional support when the rookie needed it most.
Watching her pass, and I didn't know how talented she was and how well she sees the game in a 3D version. Thinker. Defensively, a lot better than I thought and gave her credit for. So watching her and just spending a little time. And one thing, guys, that I've learned is to step back and let these kids be themselves.
Following that first Indiana victory, Miller and Clark shared an embrace that was so much more than just a lighthearted exchange between two basketball figures. It was a crucial, powerful moment that demonstrated just how alone Clark had felt during that initial barrage of criticism surrounding her league debut. Miller recalled the intense emotion of that encounter, saying, "When she spotted me, I gave her the greatest hug I could manage, and she exclaimed, 'Oh man, finally someone who's on my side.'" Miller added, "She was being struck with everything from left to right."
Was getting hit with everything left and right, and I just said, I hugged her. I said, "I'm so proud of you." I go, savor this. Use this as a formula. I said, but keep being you. I said, no matter what, keep being you.
In that incredibly precarious moment, Miller gave the kind of advice that only comes from someone who has traveled a similar challenging route, not just some meaningless platitudes. These weren't simply consoling words. They were a lifeline to a rookie who was drowning in a sea of expectations and intense scrutiny. Miller told her, "I'm very proud of you." She continued, "I said to her, use this as a formula, but keep being you no matter what."
That is a crown that she's wearing right now.
Right.
And it wasn't something that she self-anointed herself. It's something that's been placed on her head. And I hope people understand that. But it's everything that she's dealing with.
The basketball world pays attention when Cheryl Miller speaks, and for very good reason. Her voice carries the incredible weight of an extraordinary legacy that includes 3 Naismith Player of the Year awards, 2 national championships, an Olympic gold medal, and of course a spot in the Basketball Hall of Fame. However, Miller's support extends far beyond just respecting Clark's impressive resume. She sees something in Clark that many critics seem to overlook. That extraordinary court vision that makes her so much more than just a scorer. So, we have to ask, what do you think about all that? Tell us in the comments how thrilled you are to see a legend like Miller stepping up. To ensure you never miss anything, subscribe and enable all notifications. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the following one.